The galaxy had always believed humans were weak. For 300 years, the Terran species had been members of the Galactic Assembly, and in all that time, they had never shown any signs of military strength. They traded peacefully. They sent diplomats who smiled too much. They built hospitals on war-torn worlds and offered medical aid to species that had once laughed at their small frames and soft bodies. The great empires of the galaxy looked at humanity and saw nothing but prey waiting to be taken. Ambassador Calver of the Dravani Empire stood in the great council chamber, his 4 eyes scanning the gathered representatives. His scaled skin glistened under the bright lights as he prepared to announce what his empire had planned for months. The Dravani were conquerors. They had crushed 17 species under their rule. Now they wanted Earth. The Terran home world is rich with resources, Kelver announced to the assembly. Their population is small compared to ours. Their fleet consists of cargo ships and medical vessels. They have no weapons capable of threatening us. The Dravani Empire formally declares its intention to absorb the Terran territories into our domain. Silence filled the chamber. Representatives from 100 worlds watched as the human ambassador rose from her seat. Her name was Elena Vance. She was a tall woman with gray hair and calm eyes that revealed nothing of what she felt inside. "Ambassador Kelver," she said softly, "I would advise you to reconsider this decision." Laughter erupted from the Dravani delegation. Kelver's mandibles clicked together in amusement. "You advise us? Your species has no army. You have no warships. What will you do when our fleet arrives at Earth? Offer us bandages?" Elena's expression did not change. She simply nodded once and sat back down. "Very well. You have been warned." The Dravani Empire assembled the largest invasion fleet in their history. 2,000 warships gathered at the edge of Terran space. Each vessel was armed with plasma cannons capable of melting through planetary shields. The commanders expected an easy victory. They expected humans to surrender within hours. What they found instead was silence. The Terran border systems were empty. No civilian ships. No space stations broadcasting signals. Nothing but dark planets and quiet moons. The Dravani fleet advanced slowly, confused by the lack of resistance. Their sensors found no enemies. Their communications received no responses. Fleet Commander Dexner sat in his command chair and felt something strange growing in his chest. It took him a moment to recognize the feeling. It was fear. He had never felt fear before battle. His species did not know this emotion in warfare. Yet something about the silence made his scales itch and his heart beat faster. "Scan everything again," he ordered his crew. "Find where they are hiding." The sensors found nothing. The fleet pressed forward. On the 3rd day of their advance, they reached the Kepler system. It was a small system with 1 habitable world and 3 gas giants. The planet below showed cities and roads and all the signs of civilization. But there were no lights in the cities, no ships in orbit, no signals of any kind. Dexner ordered a landing party to investigate. 500 Dravani soldiers descended to the planet's surface. They moved through empty streets and abandoned buildings. They found food still on tables. Vehicles parked in neat rows. Everything was perfectly preserved, but there were no humans anywhere. Then one soldier found something strange. In the center of the largest city, there was a monument. It was a simple stone pillar with words carved into its surface. The translator in his helmet converted the human text automatically. The message read, "You should not have come this far. Turn back now. This is your final warning." The soldier reported his finding to Commander Dexner. The commander dismissed it as psychological warfare. "Humans are trying to scare us with words because they cannot fight us with weapons," he said. "Continue the advance toward Earth." The fleet moved deeper into Terran space. On the 7th day, they entered the Sol system. Earth hung before them like a blue jewel against the black void. The Dravani fleet spread out in attack formation, their weapons powered up. Their soldiers prepared for the ground assault that would make humanity slaves of the Empire. Commander Thexner opened a channel to broadcast his victory speech. He wanted all of Earth to hear the terms of their surrender. He never got the chance to speak. Every sensor on every ship suddenly went dark. The lights flickered. The engines stopped. 2,000 warships became floating metal coffins in an instant. Then the voice came through every speaker on every vessel. It was a human voice, calm and cold and utterly without mercy. "You were warned," the voice said. "For 300 years, we hoped we would never need to use what we built. We prayed that peace would last forever. But we always knew this day might come. We prepared for it. We prepared for everything." Commander Thexner tried to respond, but his communications were dead. He could only listen. The galaxy believed humans were weak because we chose not to fight. You mistook kindness for weakness. You mistook patience for fear. You were wrong. Outside the viewports, space itself seemed to change. Massive shapes emerged from the darkness. Ships larger than any Thexner had ever seen. Ships that had been hiding somehow, invisible to all sensors, waiting for centuries. Each vessel was covered in weapons that the commander did not recognize. They made the Dravani fleet look like toys. "We call these our Orc ships," the voice continued. "We built them in secret. We hid them in dimensions your science cannot detect. Each one carries enough firepower to destroy a star. There are 50 of them surrounding you now. And they are only a small part of what we possess." Thexner's second-in-command screamed as his console exploded with new data. The sensors were working again, but now they showed the true horror of Terran power. Thousands of weapons platforms hidden in the asteroid belt. Millions of automated defense drones sleeping on every moon. Antimatter charges planted on the surface of Mars decades ago. Humanity had turned their entire solar system into a fortress without anyone noticing. "We could destroy your fleet in 3 seconds, the voice said. "Every ship, every soldier. Nothing would remain but dust and memory. We have had this ability since before we joined the Galactic Assembly. We simply chose not to use it." The Dravani soldiers began to understand what humans truly were. They were not prey. They were predators who had decided to stop hunting. They were monsters who had chosen to become healers. And now their enemy had awakened them. "You will return to your empire," the voice commanded. "You will tell the Dravani leadership what you have seen here. You will explain to them that Earth is not weak. Earth was never weak. Earth was simply waiting, hoping, believing that the galaxy could learn to live in peace. But if you come back, if any empire ever threatens human worlds again, we will not show mercy a second time. We will burn your civilization to ashes. We will salt the ground where your cities stood. We will make your species a warning to every other race in the galaxy. Do you understand?" Commander Thexner found his voice at last. "I understand," he whispered. The power returned to the Dravani ships. The engines came back online. But the fleet did not advance. It turned around and fled back through Terran space as fast as its drives could carry them. Ambassador Kelver received the report from the survivors 3 weeks later. His scales turned pale. His 4 eyes went wide with terror. He watched the recordings from the fleet sensors. He saw the size of the human weapons. He calculated the power output and realized that humanity could have conquered the entire galaxy at any time they wanted, but they had not. They had chosen peace instead. They had built hospitals and offered aid and smiled at the species who mocked them, not because they were weak, because they did not want to be what they once were. The Galactic Assembly received a formal statement from Earth the following day. Ambassador Elena Vance delivered it herself. "The Terran Confederation has existed for 500 years, she said to the silent chamber. "In our earliest centuries, we nearly destroyed ourselves. We built weapons that could crack planets. We created biological agents that could end species. We made machines that thought faster than any living mind, and asked them to design better ways to kill. We became death itself. She paused and looked at the terrified faces of the alien representatives. Then we looked at what we had become, and we made a choice. We decided to put away our weapons. We decided to hide our strength and show the galaxy only kindness. We thought that if we demonstrated peace, others would follow. We thought that love could replace fear. Her voice hardened. We were naive. But we are not fools. We preserved our weapons. We improved them. We hid them where no one could find them. Because we knew that someday, someone would mistake our mercy for weakness. The Dravani made that mistake. They will not make it again. The chamber remained silent for a long moment. Then Ambassador Kelver rose from his seat on trembling legs. He walked to the center of the floor and knelt before Elena Vance. The Dravani Empire formally withdraws its claim to Terran territory, he said. We offer our deepest apologies for our aggression. We ask only for peace. Elena looked down at the kneeling ambassador. For a moment, her eyes showed something that might have been pity. Peace is all we ever wanted, she replied. Remember that. The word spread across the galaxy within days. Every species learned what humanity truly was. The great empires canceled their expansion plans. The aggressive races pulled back their borders. The Galactic Assembly passed new laws protecting human interests. But it was not politics or fear that changed the galaxy most. It was a simple question that every intelligent species now asked itself. If humans had possessed ultimate power for centuries and chose not to use it, what did that say about the races who had conquered and killed and enslaved? Some species began to change. They looked at their own histories and felt shame. They remembered the wars they had started, the worlds they had burned, the peoples they had destroyed, and they wondered if there might be another way. The humans returned to their peaceful lives. They continued building hospitals. They continued offering aid. They continued smiling at the species who came to their worlds seeking help. But now, when humans smiled, the galaxy saw something different behind those soft faces and kind eyes. They saw the fire that humanity kept locked away. They saw the weapons sleeping in hidden dimensions. They saw the death that had chosen to become love. And the galaxy remembered to be grateful that humans were merciful.